This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome to another episode of us listening to Rosie not be any of the things she claims she is, which is she's just being a hypocrite. Let's just be honest about it. It's Rosie. This is a clip out of her, or we're watching a piece out of her, July 29th. I'm sorry. Just for timeline purposes, we have a special guest. I'm hoping that this will keep him in frame a little bit. So if those of you who have listened to this already, or you've seen other people cover it, you will already know what we're getting ready to get into. What you need to know going into this before we start listening to her very long essay, not MLA formatted, by the way, not APA. Yeah, anyway. Rosie, this is minute 1 hour and 9 minutes and 35 seconds into her live that was only supposed to be like 30 minutes long and ended up being 2 hours and 2 minutes. Who's counting? Rosie had at the beginning of this live mentioned, or about 30 minutes into the live, had mentioned that she had purchased groceries for Remy, who had gone home. How is this from the 29th if Remy went home on the 1st? Anyway, it doesn't matter. She purchased groceries for Remy, who was back in Texas, and she was waiting for Remy to effectively get home to unbag the groceries because she wanted to sit online and watch him open the groceries because that's perfectly normal. And really, in my opinion, what she wanted was to sit there and watch him react to the gifts she got him because Rosie, much like Amber, likes to use gifts and acts of service as forms of control and manipulation. And if you do not react to her gifts and her acts the way she thinks you should, she will punish you for it. And so I think that's what that was. She wanted to sit and watch him open the gifts, open the food gifts especially, and make sure that he was reacting to them in the way that she believed he should, yada, yada, yada. That's my personal take. Not a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. That's just me, my personal opinion. Oh no, I knocked his glasses off his face. Somebody suggested using dangly earrings as fake glass chains. I don't know how I feel about it. You guys let me know. I am now wearing glasses chains though, so I don't know if he needs them anymore. So Remy basically has been putting her off this entire live, claiming of various things. Mostly he's hyper fixated on Magic the Gathering, the card game. I'm guessing the actual cards. I don't know. It has been a long time since I have played Magic the Gathering. Very, very long time. There's that. I don't even think any of the cards. Do I still own cards? If I do, none of them are legal for play anymore. That's how old the cards I own are. But I guess he's putting together some kind of Magic deck, and it's taking time away from her. Now, she plays it off. I think she plays it off fairly well, but the reality of the situation is Remy's not paying attention to her, so she's going to stay online to get attention from her online people. And by this point, she's, I guess, run out of shit to talk about. And so she's gone on to her Goodreads account, which I also have a Goodreads account. I like Goodreads. I know some people don't. I don't really know why. I'm not going to quit using mine. So I think because it's attached to Amazon. I don't really know. Anyway, so she gets onto her she gets onto her Goodreads account and she decides to read us this review because she hates this book. All right. She hates this book. And this book is More From Life, S.J. Crab. Now, I am doing this for you guys because from the point where she tells us what book it is she's going to read her review of to the point where she actually starts reading the fucking review, it's like 10 minutes. Because she keeps getting distracted and she keeps having squirrel moments. Squirrel! And then she starts picking fights with the people in her chat. It's very... Like, it took me so long to figure out what books the hell she was talking about because I kept having to scroll back and scroll back and scroll back. And I was just like, what are we talking about? So this is the book she's talking about. This is More From Life by S.J. Crab. This was written back in 2018. It says first published on May 26th of 2018. I did pick it up through Kindle Unlimited because I have a Kindle Unlimited account. So spoilers, I read it. I I won't say I spent like a long time reading it. I skimmed it because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Chick lit, not my thing. Contemporary romance, not my thing. Do I like romance? Yes. Will I read smut? Yes. Was this those things? No. But I did skim through it because I have already listened to her review. And there were things in it where I was just like, A, I feel like you're missing things. And B, there was just some funny things that she mentioned in her review where I was like, well, that sounds interesting. So I decided to be like, all right, I don't usually read the genre, but I'm going to go give it a shot. Look, I'm not saying the book is bad. I am saying I don't like chick lit and I don't like contemporary romance. All right. That being said, the book is well written. It's not Shakespeare, but I wasn't expecting that. Okay? Shakespeare's Shakespeare, all right? This is a what do they call it? Written to market chick lit book. It's a romance. It follows a formula. I mean, it's not challenging anybody's idea of what the romance genre is. I think they call these things like beach reads, where they're meant to be able to. I think I read this in like 2.5 hours. It's very easy to read. Okay. It's not meant to challenge you. It's a story about a 40-something-year-old woman she's a divorcee. She has 3 kids. 2 of them are teenagers. She gets a free vacation and she meets a hot guy while she's on vacation. So hilarity ensues, and that's what it is. I think it has some very funny moments in it. I laughed. S.J. Crabbe is British. That's an important detail for Rosie's review later on. I didn't not like it. Like, there wasn't anything in it that I was just like, oh, right? It's just not my thing. I didn't like love it, but that's because like I said, not my thing. All right. Would I read any more of S.J. Crabbe's books? Actually, I got onto her Amazon author page, and it looks like she does have some like urban supernatural books, paranormal fantasy, whatever. I don't know what they're called. But it does look like she has some books that look like they might actually be more in my wheelhouse that I prefer to read. And I might actually pick one of them up and read it. Because it looks more like something I would read. All right. As a writer, I didn't have any problems with her writing. There's nothing wrong with the writing, which is an important detail as well. Her characters fit the tropes. There's nothing wrong with the characters either. Okay, like it's a very trope heavy book, which is fine. Some people like that. Some people don't. It's fine. This is another reason why I'm not particularly a huge fan of chick lit. It's a very trope dependent genre, which is not a problem. All right? People like to read what they like to read. There's nothing offensive about this book other than, it's chick lit contemporary romance. If you hate that, don't read this book. It clearly lists itself as what it is. All right? It has a nice long description of what's in the book. If you can't figure out what the book's about, I mean, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Rosie's going to say some dumb shit, and I'm going to be able to actually like counter it because, again, I've actually read it, okay? And I think I spent about as much time critically reading this book as Rosie did, just going off of the shit Rosie says in this review. So, all of that being said, I do not have her sped up. She is at normal time. Because when she gets excited about something, she actually speaks at a normal pace, and she's actually excited to share this review with us. So she's talking like a normal person. So I have her at normal speed. So this was actually going to end up being a fairly long video. So I don't know, go get your popcorn, get a snack, get comfortable. I have told you about the book, my opinion of the book. I haven't spoiled the book for you. Rosie's going to kind of, but not really, because what she says about the book isn't that accurate. If this is the kind of thing you like to read, it's not going to spoil things for you. I will say the book it relies heavily on the concept of social media. It uses it uses WhatsApp. It talks about WhatsApp in it and Instagram and these kind of things. It's hard to talk about those kind of things in literature sometimes, just because, especially if you're not familiar with it as an author, And that does kind of come across, but I don't feel like that took away from the book, in all honesty. So that's my opinion. Again, do I think it's Shakespeare? No. Do I think it's this flaming pile of crap that Rosie thinks it is? It is not. This is an overreaction. And I think my personal opinion is the reason why we're having this overreaction is because, especially with the daughter character, Rosie had a mirror held up to her and she hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Yes, let's read the review. Okay. I'm gonna be cracking up because I'm not gonna remember. I've read this a few different times. Like, I don't know if I've done it on YouTube. If I have, it was a long time ago. So I'm not. This is a very long, just kind of like purposefully dramatic rant book review.
Imagine that. Rosie's being dramatic. Never.
So I said, let me first paint you a picture of the type of person that would like this book. Then I will explain this book and all the reasons why I wish I could give it a -1 out of 5. Imagine a white suburban 35-year-old mother. Dude, I'm turning 35 now. That's wild. Anyway,
well, just go dig your grave, chop on in, and pull the dirt in after you.
Imagine a white suburban 35-year-old mother of 3 who posts her every move and mom-related memes to Facebook all throughout the day, as well as constantly talking about God and Bible verses, but also uses religion to push misguided and often unthought-out viewpoints about things that don't affect her.
Kind of like all of your opinions on politics. And, I don't know, most of your opinions on the LGBTQ plus community. I don't know. Putting that out there. But anyway. Oh, yeah. Let's not forget your adherence to feminism.
She buys this book on her husband's credit card to fill the void of her loveless marriage, having seen him check out the waitresses behind on their weekly date night while sorry.
I like off-colored jokes. I do. I like dick jokes. I like toilet humor. I'm explaining to you that I don't require highbrow humor to get a giggle. This is not it. This is not funny. There's a lot of projection happening here, but also this is a very specific person that Rosie's describing right now, and I'm sure we're all painting a picture in our head of who this person is. So, yeah. Why is this funny to you? I don't understand. Like, is anyone else finding this funny? And maybe it's just me, because I have been told that, sometimes sometimes I take things too seriously. I've been told that my literal whole life, so it's fine. Maybe this is one of those things that I'm taking too seriously. I don't find this funny.
Yeah. Checking out the waitresses, having seen him check out the waitresses behind on their weekly date night where they silently eat together on their cell phones. She silently grapples with the fact that there's a solid 78% chance her husband is cheating on her and is too afraid of the reality to even look into that chance. She stands in that Barnes and Nobles and pays full price for this mindless dribble.
Why is this funny? You're describing a woman. Obviously, this is like a metaphorical person. Like this is a fantasy person. But you're describing a woman who's in her mid-30s, so she's a young woman who's married with kids to a guy who's apparently cheating on her and she knows it, and you have assigned no value to her whatsoever because she has to buy this book on her husband's credit card because you've assigned no value to her, And the joke here is that she's a stay-at-home housewife who's so miserable in her shitty marriage that she can't or won't leave, and she has to use her husband's money, not her own, her husband's money, to buy a book that you don't like. She has to buy a romance book in order to feel romance. That's the joke she's trying to build here. That's the joke she thinks is fucking hilarious. That somewhere in her head, there's this fantasy woman who is young, miserable, being taken advantage of, has no money, and in Rosie's mind, at least the way I'm interpreting this, has no societal value, at least to Rosie. Because it's not her money, it's her husband's money. Never mind the fact that this woman, if she were to exist, would have to be taking care of the children, taking care of the household, taking care of the husband, taking care of anything that happens outside of the household that isn't related to this man's work because he's got enough time to go have an affair. But none of that money that comes into that household or that revolves around that household, none of that is considered hers, according to Rosie. This is not feminist thinking. This is how men think about their wives when they perceive their wives as property. Right? Rosie is doing that. Rosie is taking the male position of wife is property and making a joke about it because only that kind of woman, keep in mind, she has to be white as well. Only that kind of woman would read this book. Apparently, no one of color would ever pick this book up and read this book because, I mean, to be honest, the protagonist is white, but that's not exactly the point. People of color read books with white antagonists or protagonists all the time. But for some strange reason, anyway, so on top of everything else, so on top of being sexist and misogynistic, we're also being a couple other things that I'm just going to leave on the side because I don't want to get into it. But that's the point. This isn't funny. This is 2026. Rosie is reading a review that she wrote in 2018, and she still thinks it's funny. Hilarious. Can't stop laughing at her own fucking joke here. That's a problem. Yeah, it's funny as shit.
Standing in checkout with her Lululemon pants, Jesus Loves Me off the shoulder baggy tee, the messy bun she spent an hour on to perfect with a full face of makeup, holding a pink Cambo tumbler with pink monogram initials filled with red wine at 11 a.m.
You're describing a woman in crisis, and you think it's funny. I understand the stereotype of the wine mom, and I understand that there's like a soft wine mom culture and blah, 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 blah. And I do understand in the fictitious world, you know, in the world of media and television and movies and books, these are ways of describing a type of character, and it's a shortcut in a way to convey to the reader or the viewer a certain person, right? That's not what's happening here. Rosie's creating a fictitious person, not a story. She's telling a story, but she's mentally creating a stereotypical woman who could only be the person reading this book. Keep in mind, Rosie bought this book in some capacity. She either used her Kindle Unlimited account, which I don't know if she even has a Kindle, to be honest with you, or she purchased this book herself with her own money, or maybe she used her dad's credit card. 2018, was she with her partner, her ex at that point. I don't remember. Her timeline's kind of foggy in my head. Right? This is before lockdown, so it's funny that we can isn't that weird that we can actually like lockdown's a really strong word too. It's interesting to me that we can do that now with our timeline. It's before lockdown. BLD. And she just keeps going. And it just makes it worse. It's so stereotyping to the point that it's actually offensive. But maybe I'm just taking it too seriously. This is the kind of character creation, like this kind of character, when you see it in media, is usually the kind of character that has some kind of growth arc or has some kind of hidden trait that shows the reader or the viewer that this person is more than what meets the eye, which is the point. But for Rosie, it doesn't go beyond that, right? This person is irredeemable in Rosie's eyes. This person could be her mom. She's literally describing her mother, aside from the wine mom part. And we're not even into the actual review yet. This is just her insulting some fantasy woman because she's mad at a book.
Sorry. She believes in free-range parenting, that letting her children make the most important decisions for themselves at all times and what they choose to do with their time and how they interact with others is the best way to learn without guidance or interference from others. She also...
I'm not going to critique people's parenting skills, but Rosie's also not a parent. Just saying.
Also was a C average student and has no discernible talents.
Rosie, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I hate to be like this, but since you brought it up, you didn't complete high school. You had to get a GED. Nothing against people with GEDs. All right? Lots of people got GEDs, moved on to college, and do amazing things with their lives. Lots of people do that, Rosie. What did you do? What are your discernible talents? At least this woman was a C average student. I'm defending a fake person.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fucking
And
hilarious.
has no discernible talents or passions except her Etsy shop. She stopped updating because she felt that crafting for profit while her kids were at school took the fun out of crafting, but really they just weren't selling well. I was mad.
No, you were offensive. I forgot to put weed bum back on here. No, you were being... This is the thing with Rosie. When Rosie gets mad and she throws her temper tantrums, because that's what this is. Rosie's throwing a temper tantrum and she decided to share it with the internet, like she tends to do. Her actual real colors come out. This is when Rosie starts throwing her temper tantrums and she gets mad. This is when she starts calling the police on people of color, starts threatening legal action on people. She starts demonizing people who used to be her friends. And when she fails to have any of that at easy grab, she apparently creates people in her head that she views as lesser than herself or who are inherently flawed or that society will think are invaluable or unvalued, whatever. And now she's attacking this person, right? This is a straw argument, obviously, because this person doesn't exist. Rosie's completely fabricating this person out of thin air. It's a stereotype, but Rosie needs this person to be a person so that she can justify hating this book. It's still not funny. It's actually kind of gross, right? It's offensive, especially as a woman. This is offensive. And it's gross. Imagine, just shift the page, because this is always what you need to do when this kind of thing pops up. Imagine if this was a man reading out this description and laughing. how would you feel about it then? Because it's still not funny. But I'm sure people would be having a much different reaction to it if this was a man reading this out, pointing the shit out. But no, Rosie's fucking hilarious.
I'm a Sagittarius sun sign.
Immature Sagittarius.
Court, oh my god, that's crazy. The following contains spoilers. I promise you, do not waste your time on reading this.
We finally start the review. Finally.
Court, oh my god, that's crazy. The following contains spoilers. I promise you, do not waste your time on reading this. There are so many better books. My fan fiction about this random woman was more engaging than this book.
Fan fiction implies that you're basing it on something real. Like an actual book or a movie or something that exists, or, you know, a person. People write fan fiction about real people all the time. I'm just saying, calling it a fanfic implies that you were indeed basing it off of a real person.
And that isn't even being self-aggrandizing. The book is just that bad.
It's really not that bad.
So you aren't missing anything, I promise. This book was like severely basic. This book has like severely basic character names except for these random exceptions.
Except for these random exceptions. Well, it proves the rule. What do you care? Usually the main characters have some kind of slightly bizarre name. Does every book you read have to have the most weirdest names? You know what? From now on, I'm naming all of my characters the most benign names possible just to piss you off.
A great example of how the writer reads as a 12-year-old on fanfiction.net. The lead...
I feel like I need to go check out fanfiction.net. I live on AO3. But now, apparently, I need to go check out this fanfiction.net.
His name is Amanda Swallows, but her married name is Dickens. Ha ha.
It is funny. It is funny.
Ha, so funny.
That's funnier than the whole bullshit you wrote preamble getting into this review. Just letting you know that. Like, that is actually funny. That actually kind of hits a little close to home for me, as somebody with a suggestible last name. So, it's actually pretty fucking funny.
But it's only used once in the book as a side thought of the main character, not even as a joke within the story.
The joke writes itself. What do you want? You want people to pick on her for her name? If it's not that big of a deal, why do you care?
Another thing. The name of this book is More From Life, a funny and feel-good romantic comedy by S.J. Crabbe. Listen here, Mr. Crabbe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm making myself laugh.
I mean, somebody should laugh, I guess.
First of all, I think the author's a woman, and I didn't know
The author is indeed a woman.
that when I wrote this. But listen here, Mr. Crabbe. Your book was
90% or more of romance is written by women. There are these occasional, they're probably not even that occasional. There are men who write romance, and sometimes they do it under their own name, but a lot of times they'll use like a female pen name, which I find fascinating because usually it's the reverse. Women will write non-romance and they'll use a male name or they'll use a male sounding name in order to not have their writing dismissed as, oh, it's a woman. What does she know about sci-fi? A lot, actually. So it's interesting to me that, like, when it comes to romance, which is one of the largest and most profitable genres, men will do the exact opposite, right? I don't know if I would not read a romance book written by a man. I just don't know if I've ever found one that's in the genres I read, I guess. Why would you assume that the writer is male when, like, literally almost every writer in romance is female? I guess there is a good chance. I mean, there is a chance that it's a mister, but also, you wrote this on Goodreads under the book page. There's a picture of the fucking author there. This is S.J. Crabbe, all right? This is the author of the book. You couldn't even do the basic scrolling it took to read on Goodreads about the author before you wrote an epic about how much you hate their book. You know what? You know what? You know what? Well, I was going to go and do the digging to find Rosie Jean's book review, but it's literally the last book review on this book. Yeah, here's what she's reading. It's still going. I still don't know what this is. Doop, boop. Do, 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 do. 8 people liked this review. What are the comments? Oh, and of course Rosie can't let it go. She's from the UK. They write and speak differently. My goodness, why did you finish book if you hated it so much? My descriptions must have hit a little too close to home, huh? Why are you always such a bitch? I have ready almost 50 books this year, and you can't spell the word read, and stand behind this review. This book was terribly written. I like this review. I'm quite the opposite of miserable, actually. And if anything, you should learn how to take a joke. Toodles. The woman said, she's from the UK. They write and speak differently. My goodness, why did you finish book if you hated it so much? Didn't say anything about her being miserable. What did you read? What comment did you read? So, all right. All right, this person thought it was funny. Sam Bell says, I'm from the UK and couldn't finish it. I didn't enjoy it at all. Sorry, that's Sammy Bell. I too only really liked the mother, and the rest of them just pissed me off. Okay. This review is perfect. I wish I read it before reading the book. The fan fiction at the beginning was great too. Almost made it worth the pain of the book. Really? That's disturbing. Why are you such a bitch? Who are you talking to? Is there a comment here that I missed? I clicked on it as a reply to Dawn Bohemian. She said absolutely nothing about how many books you read, if you're miserable or not. Who are you talking to? You fucking weirdo. Back to this. I'm disappointed in my fellow man. You thought that was funny?
The most unfunny and not feel good thing I have ever read. I didn't.
Then put the book down. You know what I do when I read books that piss me off? Because they do. Some books do. I have a whole section on Goodreads that is did not finish, and I think I've got another section that is terrible. And you know what I do? I just put them in that section. Now you know I didn't like the book. I don't sit there and write a 40-page paragraph about why it's terrible. Sometimes I will make little comments, but nothing like that.
Laugh a single time. Not once. Not even a chuckle. In fact, I spent the majority of the book being pissed off.
Then put the book down.
I will dive into why.
And you're not like a literary reviewer or anything like that. Like, it's not your job.
Into why I was pissed.
Uh-huh.
I think her name is pronounced Saskia. So Saskia, first, the heck kind of name is that? I don't know why I was talking like a Mormon. Anyway, I was like, maybe it was
because you're a Mormon. Ba-ba-bum. Sorry.
To make sure I didn't get the review reported. I was like trying to not cuss. The heck kind of name is that. Beyond that, she is the single-handedly most atrocious, unforgivably awful fictional character I have ever had the displeasure of having to observe in literature.
The kid was pretty awful. And if you read the other reviews, people do mention how the kids are terrible. The kids were kind of bad. But that's kind of the point.
It's like the author has never interacted with teenagers before and had only ever...
And Rosie knows everything there is to know about teenagers.
Read articles about how entitled and awful they are. Saskia is obsessed with social media, is vapid and annoying, but most of all is extremely emotionally abusive to her mother.
Wah. Who does that remind you of? She really didn't like having that mirror held up to her.
She is disrespectful, nasty, and downright disgusting in the way she cuts her mother down, calling her old and ugly, constantly critiquing her and putting her down for being embarrassing, not making enough money for what she wants. She thinks she is above doing chores and treats her mother like a peasant maid and cook, while also putting down her efforts to please her daughter.
What did Mima do that last time she came to visit? How often and long did Mima spend cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the house, handing you shit in the kitchen, and you snapped at her every opportunity you had? She couldn't even hand you onions properly without you whining, literally whining like an 8-year-old. I can do it myself. Stop. The only time you were happy with your mother was when she was feeding you chocolate. Fucking weird. All right. Also, that's a sign she's just given up on you. Who feeds their almost 600-pound daughter chocolate? That's just fucking weird. Anyway.
And the worst part about this character is instead of her having any kind of come to Jesus moment, having any kind of character development or improvement whatsoever, when the book is being wrapped up, Saskia just suddenly decides to start being nicer to her mom.
She's a teenager. It really wasn't that. It wasn't like that. Saskia's not really great, though.
There's no reason for it. No turn of event, nothing.
You didn't pick up on the character development of the main character. If there was any kind of subtle character development with the minor characters, you wouldn't have caught it either.
Worst of all, her mother never once even tries to discipline her daughter or make her daughter act right in any way.
Hey, Mima, what's up?
I'm not a fan of speaking of physical punishment, but this child was so out of whack and out of order, I would have backhanded her 16 ways to Sunday. Jesus.
I come from a generation that believed in corporal punishment. It's not funny.
Ryan, her brother, was spoiled and entitled in a brooding, silent treatment way. He was annoying, but I didn't want to actually murder him in his sleep.
In Minecraft.
Hyperbolically, of course. And when Saskia would wrap up a conversation during the book, when Saskia would wrap up a conversation during the book, whenever she was being disgustingly problematic, she would randomly and suddenly say something kind or genuine, and her doormat of a mother would just suddenly gush and melt about her daughter, giving her positive attention.
Is that like when you use your baby voice? Baby, honey, mom, can you do this for me? Oh my god, can you do that for me? Thanks. Can you fill up the ice trays? Can you hand me this from the fridge? Can you put water in my glass? Can you turn off the stove? Uh-huh.
Imagine being that weak of a parent that you allow your child to emotionally abuse you without reprimand and just yearn for her positive attention, so you let her do what she wants.
Hey, Mima, what's up? I hope you know that your daughter wrote a review about you back in 2018. She's very critical of you, by the way.
Saskia should not exist. Her entire character makeup is deplorable and downright tragic.
You really don't like that mirror being held up to you, do you? You really didn't like that mirror.
I've never hated a character more.
We tend to dislike things that remind us of our most negative aspects. We tend to dislike those things the most. I just got done with a live with the public, and one of my regular chatters said something very sagely, and it was well, I'm gonna butcher it, but basically it was commenting on the people that hate Roz the most, like have like a hate boner for Roz the most, which I know she's accused me of having because I'm critical of her, which, you know, whatever. Well, I'll just lump myself in here, that we have that hate boner for her because we see all of our negative aspects in her, of ourselves in her. And psychologically, I do agree with that. I think that is, I think that's even been like studied. So I am 100% on board with that one. But it also works with Rosie and this daughter character. She hates this character because this character is her. And this was written in 2018. I think she was living with her partner, her ex at this point. I think. I don't honestly remember the whole timeline anymore. It's so confusing. So yeah, I mean, chronologically, she'd still be with him. I don't remember. But anyway, she doesn't like the negative traits of this teenage daughter because that's what she does. And she was doing it in 2018, and she's doing it now to her parents and her brother and her boyfriend when he came to visit. She didn't do shit while he was there. He deep cleaned her kitchen, her bathroom. He helped clean the pool. Like, he was there on vacation, getting adjusted to a new med. Like, all the man wanted was to go to the damn beach, and he didn't get to do that. Did they even leave the house? Anyway.
The overall problem with this book is that it isn't funny.
Kind of like you and that fucking review, your little fan fiction at the beginning, talking about your mom. Sorry.
Would never be friends with someone that genuinely found this book compelling or funny.
I don't know if compelling. I don't think it was meant to be compelling. It's a quick comfort. Nah, I don't even. It's a quick read. It's like I said, it's meant to be like a beach book. It's just a quick read. It was humorous. It was funny. Was I guffawing? No, you got to be a different writer for that. You should never try to read anything that actually challenges you. Compelling. It wasn't trying to be compelling.
It's clear this is an author that churns out stories for publishing deadlines and money and not for the art of storytelling.
Yeah. In publishing, there's a publish or die mentality. It's your income. How do you think this shit works? Of course they're publishing books for money. She's an author. That's what they do. Why is that a problem for you? It's a romance novel. It has a formula. It can be followed and reproduced. That's why there's so many romance writers. And that's why even before AI, romance writers could put out books so fast. There's a formula. You just follow the formula and you have a book. And people like it. They like it and they read it. And they look forward to reading more of it. Okay? So before somebody gets on my case about that shit, you're wrong. Because it's the most profitable genre in books. I think it's followed by like mysteries or something like that. It outsells everything. So people like it. But you're not going to go read a romance novel and find the next book that's going to topple governments. Romance isn't there for critiquing society. It could. You can put little details like that in there, which the author did kind of put some stuff in there that Rosie completely missed because she's too busy being self-righteous and arrogant and missing the point. But like, it's romance. It's just supposed to be there to make you feel good and give you a quick read most of the time. All right? It's not that deep.
It's so incredibly disjointed and nothing makes sense. The whole premise of the book could have been good if the way things played out had been more thought out and, frankly, if it had been written by a better author.
This author is one of the better sellers on Amazon. At least that's what Amazon told me. So, also, where are your books? Where's your series? Where's your poem book? Where's anything you've written and published?
Amanda had this really weird homophobic undertone about her daughter possibly dating a girl, which I think was supposed to be a funny subplot. However, it came off weird.
This is her absolutely missing part of the main character's development arc, because Rosie's too busy looking for something to be offended by.
And after she frets for several chapters about how she possibly failed as a mother, that's homophobic, y'all.
Rosie, I don't know what to tell you about your review. I know because I read your response to the woman who wrote 2 sentences about why did you finish reading a book you didn't like. I know that you think that you're fucking brilliant and that you have valid points here, but you completely missed the point of that entire arc. So good on you. And that whole fanfic that you wrote at the beginning is one of the most misogynistic, anti-feminist things I have read in a very long time. Anyway.
She gets weirdly defensive with Edward, her love interest, about how she isn't homophobic.
Yeah, that was the development arc.
Overall, the arc of Edward was again extremely poorly done. It's like the person who wrote this book is either a sociopath or has the emotional depth of a gnat.
Takes one to know one?
I really hated this book, guys.
Why did you read it? Keep in mind, she chose to do this. No one forced this book on her, all right? She either purchased it or used Kindle credits to read this thing.
He starts out being disgustingly nasty, like unredeemable mean to the main character.
It's a typical friends to lovers trope. It's just a friends to lovers trope. Or sorry, enemies to lovers trope. Romance novels rely heavily, especially romance novels like this, rely heavily on tropes. Again, people like that. They like those types of tropes.
And the writer does a piss poor job explaining why until the twist later in the book when he's suddenly a kind and nice man.
Halfway through the book, he explains to her why he was treating her like crap when they start getting together. Because that's usually where that happens in a novel, in a romance novel. And his reasons for it are, I mean, they're thin, but whatever. It's a romance novel. I wasn't expecting, grand commentary on the world. But honestly, if she had been reading it and paying attention, she would have appreciated the twist, because the reason he didn't like her was because he thought she was one of these vapid middle-aged women who were just there on the island to get their rocks off. And it turned out she had more depth than that. So if she'd been paying attention, she probably would have enjoyed that, because it was a commentary on how basic Amanda, the main character, appeared.
It wasn't endearing, it was jarring and unpleasant. Their loving lust scene was like PG-13, but then
it's a cozy. That's the other thing I keep forgetting to tell you guys. It's a cozy. It's not porn. Anyway.
But when they started being romantic, it read like an extremely bad porn intro, like Lemon Tree bad. I'm not going to say that word on YouTube. Amanda is also a self-aware doormat. Like, she called herself one. But then throughout the entire book acts like a freaking doormat and never does anything to grow or improve, not even in the ending.
She developed in other ways, and she kind of, I mean, again, it's not, I'm not looking for societal commentary, but she does change.
Also, her life is so unrealistic. She is just getting by, working 3 shifts a week for 4 hours, and then she gets a magical free dream vacation with a man who ends up rescuing her from her boring life.
There you go. That's the plot. And yeah, if you were only working 3 shifts during the week, 4 hours each, you'd probably not be making it work either. That'd be what, 12 hours? You're working 12 hours a week. You wouldn't be able to afford shit and 3 kids.
This is literally middle-aged woman. I think I already said the word porn, but whatever. Without the X-rated bits for women who just want a man to come in and rescue them.
It's a cozy. There's not supposed to be porn in it. You want porn, you want to go read the smut. That's what smut is. Smut is a cozy with the porn added.
This is mindless, thoughtless dribble.
Kind of like this review.
The social media aspect of this book makes no sense either.
I will admit, the social media, and I said this at the beginning, it's hard to write that stuff sometimes, especially if you're not fully familiar with it. And it did actually come across that was kind of a weak point for the book.
She makes a fake account and becomes a blogger on Instagram, and they allude to her getting famous on it in less than a week, by the way. But never talk about how many followers she got, and mainly focus on the fact that her kids get catfished by her, and her son has a crush on this fake account, which I guess was supposed to be funny.
She was concerned because she thought her son was a porn star online, which is kind of funny. But that was part of the humor. So again, Rosie completely misses the point and misinterprets it. I don't know why she wants it to be like this.
And it just came across as creepy.
Girl, you would know creepy.
Like, how did her kids even find this random account if she never even followed them first?
The algorithm. I get recommended shit all the time on all of my social media of people I've never seen, interacted with, knew existed. All right, that's the algorithm at work. That's how it works. That's what the algorithm does. It suggests new accounts to you if it aligns with your interest, and even then, sometimes even if it doesn't. They're just like, oh, it's a new popular account. We're just going to recommend it to everybody. You established in your review it was a new and popular account, so they probably just recommended it to everybody.
You don't blow up on an account that quickly, especially where you never even show your face.
Faceless accounts do well all the time, especially back in 2018.
Edward was fine as a character once he stopped being... Wait, what? Edward was fine as a character once he was a pretentious jerkwad. Once he wasn't a pretentious jerkwad who almost ended Amanda with crocodiles.
This never happened.
Yes, that happened.
They went water skiing, and there were crocodiles nearby.
That jarring, disjointed character development was tragic. The only character I actually liked was Amanda's mom, and I honestly would have rather read a book about her adventures out at sea with a random captain with the random captain that she ended up marrying. There was no development about that throughout the book. It was just
because the story wasn't about the grandmother who was globetrotting and having her end of life moments. She wasn't dying. That came out weird.
Thrown in at the end, and I guess that was supposed to be another comedic part of the book, but
yes, and you missed it apparently. She's supposed to be the kooky mother who has nothing left to lose, so she just went off and lived her life while her daughter stayed home stressing and making herself miserable. That was the point. She is the counterpart to her daughter, carefree and enjoying life. Meanwhile, her daughter is miserable because she's stressing out about everything. And her mother's like, bye, see ya. And runs off and finds a sea captain, and they get married. Or they're getting married.
was severely poorly executed. I could rant about everything wrong with this stupid book for days.
Please don't.
I'm going to leave with this. Do not, I repeat, do not waste your time or money on this book. Don't even use your Kindle Unlimited for it like I did.
Okay, there we go. All right. I guess I missed that part. So she used her Kindle Unlimited to read this book. Again, she chose to do this. And just because you're not handing money over in the moment, the authors still get paid. So you're still effectively paying the author, which is good, right? When you read their books on Kindle Unlimited. So Rosie did actually spend money on this book, and she chose to do it. Go all the way back to her fan fiction about this 35-year-old woman at the beginning in her loveless marriage with her kids and her buying shit with her husband's credit card because she clearly doesn't have money of her own.
The time wasted wasn't worth it. I spent most of my time reading it pissed off and confused.
It's not a confusing book. And if it really pissed you off that much, stop reading it. Life is too short to read books that piss you off.
I've read 45 books this year.
You've read 88 books in total on your channel, according to your Google or your Goodreads account. So in 2018, you read most of the books on your account.
And, oh wow, that was in July. I've read 45 books this year, and this, by leaps and bounds, was the worst one I have read, not only this year.
And yet, by the time someone commented on it and asked you, why did you keep reading it? You claim that you read over 50 by that point. So how much time do you have to read all day? My grandmother used to read like that when she was, retired and living with us in her 90s. She would go through books like water. Seriously, she'd read like 2 or 3 books a day. So, and she read quite a wide variety of things. I was always impressed with what she would read. But she literally didn't have anything else to do with her day. She had no commitments. She didn't have a job. And I'm not saying these in negative ways. She was 90. All right? She'd earned this. She'd done her time. She raised 4 kids. She worked her life. She earned the right to sit around and read books all damn day if she wanted to. So you're just now turning 35. This was 8 years ago. You were 27.
Year, but this decade. It is poorly written, thought out, and executed. A 12-year-old on fanfic.net writes a better story than this book.
Girl, I've seen and read your poetry. You should not be throwing stones.
This book even has typos and grammatical errors.
This is where the woman being British is important. Okay, I'm not going to be the one to catch a grammatical error usually, because I'm dyslexic and I don't catch these things, right? But the ones that I did flag or would have flagged are all British spellings. So I'm guessing that's what little Miss I'm dyslexic over here caught. And I only caught it because I was looking for it. 90 times out of 10. I don't really even catch the British versus American spelling of things. I will spell it both ways. It's weird, but I will. Anyway, the point is, so I don't catch it. I won't catch it. And supposedly, neither will she. So where is she catching all these typos and grammatical errors? They have to be really fucking blatant for me to see them. So you're over here hate reading a book to the point where you're catching typos and grammatical errors? I'm not saying somebody with dyslexia can't also be a book editor. It's entirely possible. I put nothing past people. I'm just saying I'm calling bullshit. I'm just saying this is another one of the ways that Rosie tells on herself and proves to me that she is not dyslexic.
Love yourself enough to read better than this. I beg you.
And then she goes on to talk about eyebrows because squirrel. I know this has been really long. I wanted to talk about it because it pissed me off. It pissed me off, so I decided to make an 1.5 hour long video about it. Because I've got a hate boner for Rosie. I'm going to use my my fun little icon that I made for her. Why I really wanted to go over this was the beginning of it, honestly. I wanted to talk about the beginning of it because of just how atrocious that fanfic part for her was. And then to talk about the mother-daughter relationship in the book and the daughter herself and how Rosie really did not like having that mirror held up to her. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and I believe that I did in the moment. I believe we've covered it. And then we stuck around for the rest of the review listening to Rosie think she's clever as shit. Good for you. You know, now that I think about it, I think I might have 1 or 2 reviews like this. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty sure the very first Jim Butcher book, I'm pretty sure I wrote a review about the Jim Butcher book that was kind of sarcastic because I didn't like it. I did not, and I've not touched a Jim Butcher book since. I've been told if you start reading from like book 4, I've also been told that he doesn't even like his first 4 books. So I've been told if you start reading from book 4, it's much, much better. So I might give it another shot here in the future, but right now I'm not moved to do so. Anyway, the point is, I think I might have a couple reviews like this that are kind of sarcastic, but I almost always say things like, I don't like this book. It's not the book for me. You might like it because just because I don't like something doesn't mean somebody else isn't going to like it. And just because I liked something doesn't mean other people are going to like it. So there's all that. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and put a book down in the comments section. And I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Have you read the book? It's from 2018. So have you read the book? Is chick lit your genre? Do you enjoy it? What is your favorite? We talk about books on here every once in a blue moon. So let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget your emoji is a book. I feel like there's something more that I do when I close. But thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. And that's all I've got for you guys. So I will talk to everybody later. Bye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.